In 1590, an English supply ship reached a small island off the coast of North America. The crew had crossed the Atlantic expecting to find a fragile colony waiting for relief. Instead, they were met by silence. The shoreline was empty. No smoke from fires. No voices calling out. No movement at all. As the crew moved inland, the silence deepened. The settlement stood abandoned. Homes were empty. Tools were left behind. Every settler was gone. This place was Roanoke Island, located in what is now the state of North Carolina. In the late 16th century, it lay at the edge of England's ambitions in the New World. In 1587, more than 100 English settlers arrived here under the leadership of John White. This was not a military outpost. It was intended to be a permanent civilian colony. The settlers included farmers, craftsmen, women, and children. They had come to build homes, raise families, and establish England's presence in North America. Among them was a newborn child named Virginia Dare. She became the first English person born on North American soil. Her birth symbolized hope that this colony would succeed where earlier attempts had failed. But from the beginning, Roanoke faced serious challenges. The land was unfamiliar. Food supplies were limited. Relations with local native groups were fragile and complex. The settlers depended heavily on supply ships from England. Without regular deliveries, survival would become increasingly difficult. Not long after the colony was established, food shortages became critical. John White made the difficult decision to return to England. His goal was to gather supplies, reinforcements, and support. White intended to be gone only a few months. He left the settlers with clear instructions and plans for his return. But events in Europe quickly intervened. England entered a major conflict with Spain. The threat of invasion dominated the country's priorities. Nearly all seaworthy ships were seized for military defense. Civilian voyages were delayed or canceled entirely. White's return to Roanoke became impossible. Months turned into years. 3 full years passed before John White was finally able to sail back across the Atlantic. When his ship approached Roanoke Island in 1590, White expected hardship. He expected illness. He expected struggle. What he did not expect was complete abandonment. The settlement was deserted. There were no signs of violence, no burned buildings, no scattered weapons, no remains of any kind. The structures had been taken apart carefully. Wooden posts were removed. Homes appeared deliberately dismantled rather than destroyed. This detail was important. It suggested planning rather than panic, movement rather than attack. As White searched the site, he found only one clear message. Carved into a wooden post was a single word, Croatoan. Nearby, the letters C-R-O were carved into the trunk of a tree. Nothing else was written. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island. It was also the name of a native group that had previously maintained friendly relations with the settlers. Before leaving England, White and the colonists had agreed on a system of signals. If the settlers were forced to flee due to danger, they would carve a cross into a tree or post. No cross was found. This absence suggested that the settlers had not left under immediate threat. Whatever decision they made, it appeared deliberate. Beyond these carvings, there were no further clues, no written messages, no personal belongings left behind to explain their fate. What happened next remains undocumented. No first-hand accounts from the settlers have ever been recovered. No diaries, no letters, no confirmed burial sites, no official English records describe where the colonists went or how they lived afterward. This lack of evidence is what transformed Roanoke from a failed colony into a lasting mystery. Over the centuries, historians and researchers have proposed several theories. These theories are based on limited evidence and must be treated with caution. One theory suggests that the settlers voluntarily relocated to Croatoan Island. The carved word itself points in that direction. It is possible the colonists sought safety and cooperation among native communities they already knew. Integration may have offered better chances of survival than isolation. Some later accounts describe native individuals with lighter skin or European features. Others mention English-style words or customs appearing among tribes. However, these accounts were written decades later. They are not supported by direct archaeological proof. They remain unverified. Another theory focuses on environmental hardship. Scientific studies indicate the region experienced a severe drought during this period. Tree ring data shows years of unusually low rainfall. For a small, dependent colony, this would have been devastating. Crop failure, food scarcity, and disease could have forced the settlers to abandon Roanoke in search of better conditions. There is no evidence of a single catastrophic event, no massacre, no sudden destruction. Instead, the evidence suggests gradual pressure, limited resources, uncertain alliances, harsh environmental conditions. In modern times, archaeologists continue to search for answers. Excavations have uncovered European artifacts inland, far from Roanoke Island. Some of these objects suggest contact between settlers and native groups, but none conclusively explain the fate of the entire colony. Each discovery answers one question while raising several more. The story of Roanoke does not end with a clear conclusion. It ends with uncertainty. The settlers did not vanish into legend or fantasy, they vanished into history's silence. They may have survived by adapting to a new world. They may have blended into other communities, or they may have slowly disappeared without record. Without written evidence, certainty remains beyond reach. Sometimes, history preserves every detail. Sometimes, it leaves only fragments, and sometimes history does not end with answers. Sometimes, it ends with absence.